friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all well. I know I've been away for a very long time and I have a good excuse, at least this time. So we had a haram, so I was at mosque every single night, and then the days got hotter and hotter and it became more and more difficult for me to sit in front of a hot light with my windows closed, my AC off, no fan. Like right now, the amount that I'm sweating is unbelievable. I thought it would be easier at nighttime, but it is proving to me that it is not. So I will be profusely sweating during this video, so I hope you guys don't mind that. But anyways, I wanted to do a chattier video today and do our makeup on camera. I feel like we haven't done that in a while, at least that's what it feels like. And I kind of want to make a video, wanted to do today's video a little more deeper, I guess. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I just kind of kept, you know, being hesitant about it, but I think I want to film it now. And I'm also going to film another video right after this, so if you guys see the same shirt, that is why. Just letting you know. So let's just go ahead and get started. So it's only on brand for me to put the blue version of these clips in right now. And I'm going to mention everything on the screen or in the bottom bar, so if you're wondering about what I'm using, that is where you'll see it. I'm not going to name products as I go because I feel like that's just going to make time go on more longer, and this video I already know is going to be long, so let's just do that. This video, basically what I wanted to do was like lessons I've learned in my 20s. Now I'm not 30 yet, I will be 29 in October, which I know is not 30 yet, but I feel like I've lived enough of my 20s to be able to kind of come on here and talk about this kind of stuff. And yeah, I just feel like I want to also have a personal kind of level on my channel and not just be like, ooh, lipstick, you know. So there will be a lot of that too, but you know, it's nice to change it up once in a while. And you guys know I'm not scared to talk about topics that are swept under the rug or that people don't talk about a lot, because that's who I am. So we're gonna do that, and I'm going to try and do this, and I am hoping this makeup doesn't melt off because these lights are not helping. The amount of upper lip sweat I have going on. Send help. So the first lesson I think that I've learned, which by the way, I just want to mention that I'm not saying I've mastered any of these lessons or I've been able to be completely skilled in dealing with this kind of stuff. I still am trying to do that. I am obviously a work in progress. That sounds very cringe to say, but I'm not a master by any means at any of these things, so don't think that I'm saying that, oh, I've gotten through these things and now I'm on the other side of it. No. I'm human, so I'm constantly working through this, so I think that applies to a lot of them. But the first big one I would like to say that I am constantly learning is that comparison is the biggest thief of joy. Now, I wouldn't say the biggest, maybe one of the biggest in this context, because I know there's a lot of other things that is going to be a big thief of joy here, but comparing yourself to other people, comparing your success to other, for example, in my case, comparing your success to other content creators, comparing your body to other girls, comparing your life, your job. It comes down to, like, I would say almost everything all around. I've just realized is the biggest thief of joy, and comparing yourself in general to anybody is just not good. It happens by, you know, it's natural and human nature for us to kind of look at the next best thing and think, oh, I want that, but you have to sit down and really think about, like, am I looking at that like, oh, I want that and I'm gonna work for it, or do I want that and I'm just like gonna be miserable and be like, why does she have that, or why do they have that and I don't? So my biggest one that I've had to kind of work on, and I'm continuing to work on, is to try and not compare my path and my experiences and my timing of my life to other people, which has been very hard to do. This is really hard for someone that is in the space that I'm aspiring to be in, because there's people who I feel like attain their success so much quicker, and it's very discouraging for me to, you know, constantly work for something and then not get the results I want. And a big part of this, I'm sweating, a big part of this also applies to the gym. Like, I've been working out for well over 5 years and I have not yet attained the physique that I want, but I have realized it's not about the number on the scale is actually an issue that I personally need to work on, and that is self-love. And I've just been in an unhealthy spiral where I will sit down and just compare my body to other people, and I don't take into account that my body does a lot of things for me, even though it's not perfect by any means. My body's gotten me through a lot of illness, but it's hard to love yourself and love your body when you are constantly looking at images or videos or like any kind of thing, or even in person, where someone's just doing better than you, especially if they're like younger and you're like, wow, they have it all together and I don't. And a big part of this, like what helps me kind of deal with it, is that everything just looks way nicer than it seems. Like social media, I feel like, is the biggest example of that, because let's say, for example, and this is not to shade anybody, people will post, like, let's say couples on social media will post the best parts of their marriage on social media. Nobody's gonna post about, oh hey guys, me and my husband are like almost on the verge of divorce because like we're so miserable together. Nobody posts that kind of stuff. Like, you have to realize that everybody posts the highlights of their lives on social media. It's very rare for people to post like the lowest of the low and show people and be in this vulnerable place, like this is how it is right now, and this is the reality of it. Like, it's very, very rare for that, and that's kind of something I have been implementing to help me kind of stop comparing myself on that level. And I'm not saying that people, you know, being unhappy makes me happy or makes me feel somewhat satisfied. That's not the case at all. But it does kind of help you to know that everybody's going through stuff, you know. It's just my challenges might be different than other people's, but it doesn't mean they're not going through something. It's just that I don't know what they're going through. So now this continues to be something really big I work on, especially for in terms of me wanting to be like successful and succeeding at things. It's very hard because there are days where I'm just like, I'm never gonna get to where I want to be. People that are younger than me have it all figured out. They're like where they need to be in their life, and I'm just here like still struggling. And you know, you just imagine when you're younger that at a certain point in your life you're gonna be doing this and you're gonna have this. And like when I was younger, I thought my life would be made by the time I was 25, and it is nowhere near that, and I'm almost 29. And I don't know why we have this fixation on, you know, thinking that we have to be on a timeline like this by 25, this by 30. Like, I don't know why that is. And now being my age, I realize how young 25 is. Like, you truly are still very, very young. Not that I'm saying I'm old, but when you're like younger, I guess you don't have a perspective about how young that still is. You think that that's like a fully blown, knows what they're doing adult, but I swear to you, even though we are the technically adults in question, most of us still don't know what we're doing. We're all panicking on the inside, internally screaming, like me, always panicking, always like freaking out, like what am I doing? And you think everybody's got it together, but they don't. So that is one really big thing, and it's something that if you guys find yourself dealing with it, I just want to kind of state that try not to compare your life and your challenges and all the things you're gonna go through with someone else, because no one's given the same exact, you know, challenges you've gone through. No one's gone through what you've gone through. No one's had the same upbringing as you. No one's had the same resources as you. No one's had the same, like, it's very, very hard to kind of put this stuff in your head, especially when you're really down, because I am, trust me, I've been there. I was there yesterday and I'm still there, you guys. Like, it's not an easy thing to tell yourself, like, it's okay, you're gonna get there. You just think that, well, I'm already at this age and like I'm obviously not there, so why would I get there now? Like, what's the point of trying? It's very easy to lose sight on all this kind of stuff when you're down in the dumps, but you have to remember, you have to remind yourself that your life is just different, and things are gonna happen for you at a different time and a different course in your life, and everybody's life is on a different course. Don't ever compare your life with anybody else's. Never, never, never. Second one is like a very big thing for me, especially right now. Or especially I would say lately, as of lately, it's been a very long time that I have had to struggle with this, and that is to not buy clothes for the way you want to look, buy clothes for how you look right now. And that, I feel like in essence, I always thought it was something healthy, like, oh, it'll encourage me more and I'll want to go, you know, work out more and I'll push myself more just to like fit into these clothes. But you guys, if you've never been there, let me tell you my experience. You'll buy these clothes that you think you're going to fit into when you have your dream body, and you'll not fit into them, and it'll make you feel so much worse. Like, you almost feel like defeated. And something I've had to come to terms with as I get older is that my metabolism is naturally slowing down. Like, there's nothing, well, there is something. There is, I was gonna say there's nothing I can do about it. Well, there is. But naturally, as you age, it is harder to lose weight, and it is harder to get in shape, and consistency is the biggest key with fitness and working out. And that's just something I've struggled with for as long as I've been working out. And I will be honest, like, I'm not at the gym as often as I should be. I'm starting to get back on track, but it's nowhere near like how I used to go like 5-6 days a week. Right now I struggle to do, like, I do 3 and I struggle to do 4. So that is like a big thing. I think everybody deserves to feel good in what they wear, and, you know, don't allow the size of your clothes to make you feel like you're less of a person or you're less special. Don't let your clothes validate you that way. Like, clothing should be you know, like, expressing your style, and it should be expressing like a way of how you are, and it shouldn't be something that makes you, like, putting on clothes in the morning shouldn't make you want to cry, because it's done to me before, where I'm just like, why on earth do I look like that in these clothes? Why is this sticking out? And, you know, like, I think when you first kind of have this idea in your head that I'm gonna buy clothes and I'm gonna like work out and they'll fit me, then it's not that bad of a way of thinking. It comes from a very innocent and naive kind of thought process, but you realize more and more that it is very toxic and you're being so mean to yourself. And that is something I've always tried to practice through the past like few years of my life. Every single year when someone asks me like, what's your New Year's resolution, I always say it's to be kinder to myself, because that is something I am just so awful at. And I have no idea why. Like, why am I so mean? Like, why is my brain so mean to me? Like, I will literally be like minding my own business and my brain's like, you're so ugly. And I'm like, yes. Like, why? I don't know why. It's so hard for me, you guys, to have that level of kindness towards myself. Like, it's unbelievable how hard it is to tell yourself, no, that's not true. Like, you're not this, you're not that. Like, so hard. So body image has been like one of my biggest struggles. It's one of the biggest things I currently feel like I'm dealing with, and it's how I've looked has been something I've been self-conscious about my whole life. Like, I've never felt like I was pretty, and I had very low self-esteem. And when I tell people this, they will tell me like, oh, but you're pretty, and people tell you that all the time, and they must tell you that all the time. And like, I don't know, I'm not trying to say it to like sound like I'm fishing for compliments or anything, but it's just that when you're at a certain point where you think you look so awful, like, I love when I get compliments, and people think people think I get them so often, so they're like, we don't compliment you. And I'm like, no, this is something I always make a note to, that I will tell somebody if I like their shirt or if I like something they're wearing, because I realize how good it makes me feel. Not that you need anybody's validation, but you know, it's a human nature thing. Like, it feels nice when someone's like, oh, you look so nice today. Like, once my coworkers tell me that, literally it makes my whole day. Why? I don't know, it just does. Like, I could deadass be in the worst mood and someone's like, oh, you're dressed so nice today, Zainab, and I'm like, thanks. And like, I don't know, it just like flips my whole day around. So I don't know what that is or why, but it's like that for some reason. Just I don't know. Okay, so third lesson that I feel like I've kind of learned, and it's something I feel like among this list I feel like I've mastered or close to mastered at this point, and that is, sorry, I'm just reading it off word for word because when I wrote these in the moment I felt like they were better worded. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person, and setting boundaries will bring you more respect. People will learn to respect and value your time. Now, the first part of that, all I'm gonna say is, if you don't want to be somewhere, if you don't want to do something, I don't want to is a good enough reason. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's it. I don't want to. That's it. You don't have to explain yourself. And this is something that I learned in the hard, like very hard way of my life. Like, I learned this because I always felt like my time wasn't being valued and people didn't value like what I wanted to do, and I always felt like I was forced into going places or being around certain people that I wasn't comfortable with, and it was all for the sake of I don't want to look like a bad person. I don't want to look mean. I don't want to look like I'm bothered. But, and I would always, and sometimes I would be like making excuses, and now honestly all I do is say no. That is it. No, I don't want to. And obviously if I am invited somewhere and I don't want to go, I will graciously thank the people who remembered me, and that's it. You don't need to, it doesn't have to be something like I'm being shady or you know, kind of being rude or something. It's just I don't want to, and that is it. You do not have to put yourself in situations where you're not comfortable. You don't have to be around certain people you're not comfortable with. And once you make boundaries in your life, you'll learn sooner that this is how you will attain respect from some people. When you become a pushover in your life, you guys, the amount of times this will make people not respect you is crazy to me. Like, you think, I always think if I do things for people, they'll just respect me more. No, you guys, that will make you feel so much more shittier, because your time, your respect to yourself should be non-negotiable, and it shouldn't be something you should negotiate just for the sake of people not being upset and people liking you. Like, people who love you will learn to understand things, maybe not right away, but they will. And it's something that I've come to terms with, that it no longer bothers me if people can't understand it, because it's not for them to understand. That's it. It's just how it is. And I hope this isn't coming off in the wrong context, but like, honestly, if it's for something valid, which I think your feelings are always valid, then you don't have to be in situations you don't want to. You don't have to go somewhere just because everybody's forcing you to go. If you know you're going to be uncomfortable, like, I know certain situations where I will be anxious, and I used to put myself in those situations on purpose. I don't know why I look like Casper on camera, because this foundation is dark on me. These lights are, you know. I promise I don't look like Casper, and I promise this matches. Oh my god, it's like matching completely, but it is not showing that on camera. Okay, next one might be something that might get me in trouble, but it is not meant to, and it's might be misunderstood from like somebody that personally knows me watching this, but it's not meant to be. And this is something I just feel like every human kind of goes through at one point in their life, and this, I feel like, will happen to every single person, and it is that you will outgrow friendships. And I know that is something very, very, very hard to come to terms with. Now, me personally, when I start caring about somebody, I will never stop. It could have been the worst of circumstances, but my love and care is not something that just shuts off when, you know, something happens to me or I have a fallout with somebody. That's not the case at all. But do I feel like you need to continue a relationship or friendship with somebody just because of the history you guys had? No. That is something I used to think, because, oh, I've had history with this person, like they've been in my life for so long, like I just have to let it be. No. You will outgrow people in your life, and that is inevitable. It doesn't mean that you hate them. It doesn't mean that you won't be clapping from them from far away when they achieve things, when they do great things. It doesn't mean that you still don't care and love for them like you did before. And that's just the reality of life. We all go through different courses, and you're gonna come to a point when people that you were once like felt like, oh, it's your whole world or something, you're gonna grow out of. And it's not a bad thing necessarily, and it can be uncomfortable to kind of step away from these kind of situations. Sometimes they've happened where they just naturally drift apart with somebody, and it's still all love. It doesn't mean anything, but this happens, you guys. People's priorities change. People are different courses in their life. Like I said, everybody's speed of life kind of changes. Some people are, you know, doing something else, and they're at different points of their life where they find pleasure in things that you don't necessarily agree with, or maybe you're, you know, it could be so many things. It could be that your perspective and stuff on life has changed, or, you know, you just plain just don't feel like you vibe anymore together. It just could be one of those things. And I think the loss of a friendship is probably one of the most painful things that I have honestly gone through. I think like a friendship breakup is so painful because history, the time, the love, the laughing, the crying you've had with friends, like that bond, you feel like it's like the biggest thing. And when something like that is either taken away or it stops or like, you know, stuff happens, it is so painful. But when people have, and I don't think that's the kind of same thing as here, I think I'm kind of mentioning about how when people just drift apart naturally or you outgrow people normally, like people have outgrown me, I've outgrown them, and right now it's all love. That's just all I want to say. No harsh feelings towards anybody. I'm gonna stop pounding my face like this. Okay, this next one might be my longest one, and this is something that I will sing on the top of a mountain or yell, and I simply do not care about anyone's feelings except mine in this certain situation, okay? And I know that sounds so bad, just off the boat, but that is that you are allowed to be upset or hurt over something that happened to you, even if it was a long time ago. It is your experience. Don't listen to people who tell you to get over it, and just know that you're not responsible for you're not responsible for repairing bonds you didn't break. If people do you dirty and they do something wrong to you, and time will pass and people just say, oh, this time has passed, just move on. If you have not emotionally been able to move on, or for some reason you no longer feel like you want that person in your life for whatever reason, that is on you. You don't need people to tell you it's been a long time, get over it, because that is your experience. Now, I've been in a situation like this, and let's say the situation happened so long ago, and people will just tell you, get over it, happened so long ago. In essence, I'll tell you guys the truth. The situation that did happen, I am over that situation. I can't get over the backstabbing. I can't get over the hurt that somebody puts me through. I can't get over the vindictiveness and the manipulation and the, you know, like breaking bonds that were so precious at one point, and someone just throwing your relationship out of the window for something. I personally think that stuff like that, I will still love like these people, and I'll always have love and care for them, and I will clap for them every time they achieve something, and I always do, and I will never speak bad about these people, because I think things happen for a reason. And sometimes when you're in the moment of going through these things, which could be the most painful thing you're dealing with in your life, you don't realize that there are reasons why these things happen. Like, I'm not saying, oh, like, I'm not trying to bring the whole thing of everything happens for a reason, but just know something, you guys, that when you lose people, once you're out of the whole, my life is ruined, I'm never gonna feel the same, I'm so heartbroken about this thing, once you're over that phase and you realize that God has his watchful eye on you, and maybe there's conversations that God heard that you don't know about, or maybe these people long term weren't good for you, or maybe it was just like, there's always something. These things happen for a reason. I'm not saying that people go and be rude or people go and do really hurtful things, and like, yay, you should go over it, happened for a reason, like that. People shouldn't, you know, blame it on that, like I did it for a reason kind of thing. I personally feel like there's just some traits that are important to me in a relationship or in a friendship kind of thing, and I feel like these kind of things have taught me more and more about myself, about what kind of qualities I look for in a friendship, and loyalty and trust and stuff like that is like huge to me. And I'm gonna blame it on the fact, that sounds stupid, that I'm a Libra. But it's such a big thing to me, you guys. Like, deep down, you have to tell yourself that if situation was not in your control and it was not something that you could have prevented, or, you know, that literally you couldn't control, it wasn't in your hands, people do things, blah, 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 blah. Just because you don't want that person back in your life doesn't make you a bad person. You are in charge of your own feelings, because you know how it's going to feel to put yourself in situations that you don't want to be in. Going to one of the previous lessons that I mentioned. So you're not responsible for bonds you didn't break. If people decide that they're gonna do something really rotten to you, it's not your responsibility to repair that bond, because they broke it. And I'm sure everybody's been in a situation where they were able to repair these kind of bonds, or they were able to become friends. And I am the last person to hold a grudge. I truly do not hold a grudge. I forgive people very quickly, and there's been so many times in my life where I've not received apologies for some of the most hurtful things that's happened to me, and I've still managed to forgive those people, because I just feel like it's the forgiveness is for me, not for them. In the moment, you truly feel like they're selfish and they should give you an apology. But literally, guys, I think one of the biggest things I would say I realized is that with time, you just realize that people are in your life for a reason, and sometimes it could be temporary reasons. Sometimes they're in your life for a certain time, and it's very hard to think back on friendships where you think of only the good times you had with that person. But like I said, these things happen for a reason. You outgrow situations, people do things, you do things, you know, it could be like that. Now I want to also state that I'm not, you know, throwing shade at anybody. I've been in a lot of situations like this where I have felt completely like heartbroken, not in a relationship wise, but like in a friendship wise, where people have gone behind my back and done very hurtful things to me. I just think that you come to a point when you realize that some things are just better left at a distance. And there's this term in Farsi that is called duri dosti, and I don't know how to put that in English. It's basically being like staying friendly from afar, being friends from afar, and that is exactly how I would like to put it. I will never stop caring for people that have been in my life. Like if I start caring for somebody, that will never ever ever stop. It won't. But that doesn't mean that we should go back to how we were. And if this is something that you do, or you're comfortable doing this with people, it doesn't make you less of a person, you guys. This all comes down to personally how you feel. I personally feel like a lot of situations that I've been in have basically told me the intentions of people and told me what kind of person they view me as and what kind of person they are as. And you kind of have to decide if you want that kind of person in your life or not. And if you don't, that's totally okay. And if you do, that's also totally okay. Sorry, my battery died, and I think this battery's gonna die soon too, but it's okay. I already put it in and I don't want to set it up all over. Yeah, I was just continuing on what I was saying. If you feel like accepting certain people into your life makes you question your value and your self-worth, then that right there is your answer. And I feel like that's a major reason of why I keep some people at an arm's length when things like this happen, especially if it's unfortunate things that's happened. Like these kind of things happen, you guys. Like it doesn't change my whole perspective on that person. I don't think that people are like inherently just bad and rotten and stuff like that, but these things happen, and that's fine. They're just, you just kind of learn to accept that people are meant to be in your life for seasons, and that's it. And it's a very hard concept to grasp and accept, and I totally understand that, and this is something I continue to work on. But I do feel like you shouldn't put yourself down for the sake of peacekeeping certain situations that you know, like where you are the victim. Like I think one of my biggest pet peeves, guys, is when people play the victim when they are not. And I see this with other people, like on social media, people being gaslighters and stuff like that, and it honestly, it sets a fire off in me, and I think it's the biggest ick that people do. My big thing for that is, again, you are not responsible for bonds you didn't break. If things happen and people did you dirty, it's not your responsibility to mend those relationships. Even if people tell you that, hey, you know, it's been a while and this should have, like, you know, you guys should get over it. No. Like, I have gotten over it. It doesn't mean I want to be associated with that person anymore. It's like that. Like, it's just, like I said, I'm not pointing this towards one situation, you guys, but just try to look at it in the way. Hopefully I'm explaining that in the right way. You're not obligated to keep people in your life if they've hurt you. That's just period, point blank, how I feel like it is. And I know there's been times where I've hurt people too, unintentionally, and things like this happen. But I think when people do it intentionally, listen to that kind of stuff, take that kind of stuff in. If people do things over and over again, and they do things intentionally, and they thought about it and they did it, and they had an opportunity to not do it and they did it anyways, think about that. Put that in front of you and think, okay, this person gives no F's about me, so why do you want that person in your life? That's it. History and all the times you went through this with this person, like laughs and growing up together, it doesn't mean anything, you guys, when it all comes down to this level of respect that you should have in a friendship or in a relationship with anybody in your life. You don't have to keep these bonds with people just for the sake of history and whatever, and like you've known each other forever, or they're related to you, or you work with them, or like, I don't know, it could be anything, you guys. I wasn't recording and I kept on talking. That's lovely. So this last one, I feel like I said so much stuff that was good and now I won't be able to remember them. But this last quality, like I said initially when I said this when I wasn't recording, is that this might make me sound really bitter. And I hope that that's not how I'm coming off. I'm not like looking at life as a one big crap show and like, oh, it's not even worth it to try. Like, no, that's not how it is. And I promise I am not like a depressing person. I am, okay, I am very hopeful of life. I'm not that like down and low and like think everybody's crap. I honestly think that everybody at their core is a good person and they know how to be a good person. But this last lesson is something that I will like literally, I tell everybody, I tell people I love this all the time. I tell my parents this, I tell my siblings, my friends, everybody. And that is to not have expectations from people. And what I mean by that is that when you have expectations for people to show up for you or do something for you or hold your hand through something, or because you've done all these things, you expect them to do the same, you have to think about all the times that, oh, I was there for them and I expected them to be there for me. Don't ever have expectations from people, you guys. And I mean this with everybody, and I'm not saying that I have bad friends or bad family members and nobody's there for me. That is not the case at all. I do rely on people for certain things, but there's just some things that I've come to terms with that I can't expect people to do for me. And honestly, I would say 9 out of 10 times, you guys, doing these things on my own and learning these things on my own, going through these experiences on my own, has made me a way better person than I could have ever imagined. Yeah, I just feel like when there's times I expect people to do things, initially you're so heartbroken because you're like, oh, I would have done the same for them. But you can't kind of expect that a friendship or a relationship has negotiations where you do it for me, I do it for you, I did it for them, why aren't they doing it for me? Don't put that in your head. If you are going to do something nice for somebody, you guys, you can't expect them to do it back for you. I know it's human nature to think they will do it back for you, but you can't. It's just like how you're going to be nice to everybody. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be nice to you. So it's just how I look at it. Of course, there are things where you will always need a human for. I need my friends sometimes. I need my mom sometimes. I need my dad sometimes. Don't get me wrong. But there's so many things, you guys, that I have learned to just rely on myself. And I can't tell you how freeing that is for me. I can't even tell you how good it makes me feel that I can rely on myself in so many situations. Like, I can independently do things. I don't have to ask people to do things. I don't have to put them through trouble. I don't have to inconvenience people. It truly makes me feel so happy and so satisfied with myself. I can't explain it. That doesn't mean that if you truly need help, you don't ask for it. Definitely do, but there's just some things that I've learned that if I need it done or I need to do something, I have to do it myself, and that is totally okay. In the moment, I would be like, wow, that's so like rude, and I would be so upset at these people for not helping me when I've helped them. But now I'm just like, I am so happy they didn't, because I learned how to do this, I learned how to do that, I learned how to do this. Like, it's like, I'm telling you guys, it has made me such a better person. I feel like one of the biggest, I would say, achievements I've kind of feel like I have, or not achievements, I feel like one of the biggest things that I have attained is being independent of myself. And I'm not saying that nobody does anything for me. Like I said, I live with my parents, they do a lot for me, you know. So yeah, you guys, that was the lessons that I really wanted to come and talk about and speak on, and I hope I have not hurt anybody's feelings. That is the last thing I want to do. Yeah, but you guys, this is just stuff that I feel like kind of needs to be talked about. It's just stuff that's personal to me. Maybe a lot of people won't agree with what I said, or maybe you agree with what I said. Like, that's totally fine either way. I think like my biggest rules of my life is to be kind to everybody. I think everybody in life deserves your kindness, and I know it's very hard to often practice this kind of kindness and patience and acceptance with people who have been like nasty to you or someone you love. Just always be nice to people. I am a true believer of what goes around comes around, and the good you do for people will be returned back to you. And yeah, you guys, life is so goddamn short. There's a lot to be learned. I think everybody goes through that course, like I said, and learns these things, but I am so like happy with all the things that I've gone through, even the bad things, because I feel like it's truly made me who I am. And I've kind of had to remind myself that, you know, bad things, good things, that's life and it happens. And I know it's not fun to go through things that are hard and things that are tough, but everybody does at one point in time, right? So I hope that everybody who is watching right now has an amazing day, night, whatever time zone you are in the world. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope someone watched it the whole way through. That is a big struggle I'm having, and I know it's probably because some of my videos are shorter, longer, so that's why people probably don't watch them all the way through, but it really helps me if you do watch all the way through, and I will try and make my videos shorter. It's just videos like this where I know they're not going to be like 5-10 minutes. Like I just know it's not going to be that short because I'm literally just talking the whole time. So there is editing to do, but there's obviously going to be, this is going to be a long video. I can just feel it. Okay, my beautiful friends, I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I still look like Casper, but I swear this foundation matches. Like, I promise you guys. I put the lighting so low, so hopefully it's helping. I don't know if it is. Maybe made it worse. I don't know. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I cannot wait to film more videos. I'm gonna go and film another one after I have my AC on for like half an hour because I am dying right now. I am dying. I am so over summer. I am waiting for the fall. I am over it. Okay, I'm sorry. I know everybody likes summer, but I am done. I'm done. Not fun for hijabis. I'm not having a good time. So I'm done with it, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna go and stand in front of my AC. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!